What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back today with more Danmachi. Now, if you guys haven't noticed, the other day, this event unlocked. Boss 121 is unlocked, and you can now come in here and get this ticket. Now, initially I thought this might have been a 4-star 11 draw, but this is actually, if we go in here to the exchange, what you're going to exchange in order to get one of these. So, here's the deal, guys. There are 14, I believe 14, banners in here in which you can choose. So there's 1, 2, 3 here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, 14 banners to choose from. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to grab that ticket, you're going to come in here, and you're going to have to pick one of these. Now, a lot of you guys have asked me which banner should you choose. And it's not an easy question to answer, but I'm going to help you decide right now. So going into the banners themselves, there are 3 conditions by which that we are going to basically judge every banner and decide which ones are the best. So the first criteria is going to be, are these units time limited? Because remember, if they're not time limited, basically you can get them from any 2 or 3 star ticket. So they're not very special, right? Number 2, is there any unique CP on this banner? So, in the case of Ilya and Aphrodite, both those units, I believe Ilya's units might be time limited. I think they all are time limited. I think she's only got 2, maybe 3 units tops in the game, and I believe they're all time limited. So she would be pretty much fresh CP unless she pulled on this the first time. But I'm gonna basically go forward under each banner, assuming you haven't pulled on either one of these. If you have, you obviously know better than that being fresh CP. But I'm gonna say Ilya and Aphrodite, odds are probably fresh CP. Now, on the other hand, Aphrodite does have a non-time limited unit that you can get with any 2 or 3 star ticket. So really, Ilya is about the only piece of fresh CP on here that you can, that really objectified or whatever. Ilya is about the only fresh CP that you will be able to get on this banner. That said, Haruhime, Bell, and Welf are all great units. But I'm not going to take the value of the unit right now into consideration, and I'll explain why. Basically, going into the anniversary, we are going to have a big meta change. Everything is just basically going to be tossed out the window, and we're going to be basically we're just going to have like fresh everything across the board. So we're not really going to take that kind of into consideration. Odds of using the same team I'm using right now in 2-3 months time are probably 0 or extremely low. Anniversaries bring in big meta shifts and things like that. So the current value of the unit is not something I'm going to consider. So thus far we have, fresh CP. Are they fresh CP? Are they time limited? There's one other criteria that I'm going to consider, and that is how many units are on the banner. Now, we've got 6 units on this banner, and we've got 6 units on this banner. But we only have 3 units on this banner. So it goes to consider that when you hit this banner, you're probably looking at a banner that is going to be one of your better picks. All these units are time limited. All these units are going to be fresh CP. And all of these units, there's only 3 on the banner in total. You have a good chance of drawing the one that you need. The only other Epimetheus in the game is also time limited and is on the most recent banner. So if you didn't pull on that banner, you have a 100% chance of getting fresh CP out of here. If you want to know more about what the CP levels and all that are, I've talked about that ad nauseum lately. I've dropped several videos on it. You can go back through the channel and find any number of them. They're all over the place. But let's go banner by banner and talk about it and consider it, okay? So for this banner, every unit on here is time limited, and we've got some really stellar units on here. But here's the deal. The only 2 pieces of potential fresh CP are Ilya and Aphrodite, and even then, like I said before, Aphrodite has a non-time limited unit out there. So I'm only going to count Ilya on this. So you have a 1 out of 6 chance in your 4-star guaranteed ticket to pull Ilya. So I'm going to kind of give this time limited, but I'm not going to give this fresh CP. It's not going to get the fresh CP checkmark for me. And there's 6 units on the banner, so odds of getting fresh CP or anything that you need out of here are pretty rugged. So this gets basically a 1 out of 3 checks, marks, or stars, or whatever you want to call it. But this really just does not tick all the boxes for me. Okay? Now, this one also has some really stellar units in it, but it has no fresh CP. So, nothing there. This is time limited, like I said before, but once again, you've got 6 units here. And if you're talking about Artemis, Artemis actually already has 2 or 3 other non-time limited units in the game, so I'm not really counting her. And even though he only has 1 other unit in the game, it's not time limited. Apollo's only got a handful of other units in the game. They're not time limited. In fact, I believe there's a free-to-play one that you can get through the event tickets. So this ticks none of the boxes. None of them. And then we get to this banner, which absolutely ticks none of the boxes. Nobody here is fresh CP. Now, once again, I know you guys are going to point out, I use Mikoto all the time. I use Welf all the time, and I use Hermes all the time. But once again, after the anniversary, that's not going to be the case. There's no fresh CP on this at all, period. No one on here is going to be fresh CP. And if they are for you, do some more summons with 3-star tickets, and trust me, eventually that will be resolved. There's no potential here for fresh CP. Number 1. Number 2, there's 6 units on the banner. So, odds of getting, if you are going after one particular unit, odds of getting it, pretty low. And any unit on here is probably going to be completely power gripped in the next month or so. So, there's that. They are time limited, so at least checks that box. But one out of 3 ain't enough for me. Now, we already talked about this banner, and I adore this banner. Number 1, everybody's time limited. Number 2, there's only 3 units on the banner, so that really, really sets this apart. So, odds of getting the unit you want, really great. If you get really lucky, you might even get 2 out of them. You know, so if you, let's say for the sake of argument, you pulled Epimetheus on the new banner, and you really need Prometheus. Prometheus and Vesta, these are their only units in existence. You will not get very many other chances to pull them. So, let's say you get lucky, just stupid lucky. And this is, most people watching this will not have this happen. But if you pull a Prometheus and you pull a Vesta, this will be probably one of the best investments you've ever made into this game. Because remember, CP rewards equal more free-to-play Iris, which equals more pulls going into the new anniversary. Fantastic. And even if you don't pull Epimetheus, you can do like one and done on the new banner and just cross your fingers. This is probably one of the best ones out there. Time limited. Everybody's fresh CP. Maybe with the exception of Epimetheus, but his other unit's time limited, so I'm still going to consider it fresh CP, and 3 units. So you have really high odds of getting somebody you need. Easily a top pick on this for your ticket. Now, here we get to a bottom pick. Nobody on here is fresh CP. All these units are not time limited, and there's 6 units on the banner. If anybody who picks this is really barking up the wrong tree here. You absolutely do not want to mess with this banner whatsoever. Take one look, walk away. Same goes for this banner. Actually, I gotta double check. And now here, all right, so I'll kind of pull the game back up here for a moment. If you guys ever wanted to know if a unit was time limited or not, here's an easy way to tell. So let's just jump back over to the game, okay? And if we go to the album, okay, and we go down here to Adventurers, and I don't believe these units are time limited, but I'm actually second guessing myself. So let's go down here, and let's actually find the only Hestia Adventurer that exists. So there's Levia, there's Hestia. Okay, this is the only Hestia Adventurer that exists, and you can tell right away this unit is not time limited. If it was time limited, there'd be a red banner at the top. So, if I actually pull up here, let's just grab Haruhime, okay, for the sake of argument. So you got the Wind Haruhime I was talking about before. I really love this unit. I use her a lot. Not sure it's going to be the case in a month or so, but like I said, but notice that big red banner at the top that says time limited. If you have any questions as to whether a unit is time limited or not ever in the game, just go in here to the album, and you'll be able to tell right away. You can check for units you have or even don't have. As you can see, I have very few holes in my collection, but you can just click on anybody, even if you don't have them. So this is the new Ilya, who I didn't bother getting. She is time limited, and she's a good unit, but I think I want to save my Iris going into the anniversary. So there you guys go. That's a quick way to tell if they're time limited. So jumping back to the banner, these units are not time limited. There's your untime limited Aphrodite. We did talk about her before. That would have been a dead giveaway, honestly. So honestly, with this one, not time limited. Nobody's here is fresh CP, even though that's the only Hestia Adventurer. She's a fun collectible unit. You'll be able to pull her in 2 or 3 star tickets. And she does not change your CP. Her CP still goes from all the units that you've upgraded from running her assists over time. So, not fresh CP, not time limited, and sick units. This is also a bottom pick. So, same with this one, bottom pick. Now, if you're asking about, I can't remember his name, Dion Kecht. If you're asking about Dion Kecht, yes, this is his only 4-star unit, but he has a free-to-play 3-star that is available in the event exchange. So if you want Dion Kecht and you don't have him, take your event exchange tickets, grab him. I wouldn't even worry about, like, actually, I take that back. You could probably get all of 5 of his and get him up to, level 76 and +5 and walk away. And you'll get 80 Irish just for doing it. You'll have a brand new unit with free CP. So I'm going to say not time limited, no fresh CP, because he is very easily attainable, and there's 6 units on the banner. No ticks, bottom marks, let's move on, okay? And this one's going to be very much the same way. Pop Stars, live show, battle, gotcha. A lot of these units are spectacular, at least for the moment, but 6 units, non-fresh CP, and not time limited. Walking away from that one. Okay? Now, we come to another top pick. And this actually, I hate to say, this one might actually usurp the other units, in my opinion. Now, this is a weird one to gauge, only because I don't know when or if these units are ever going to come back around. Now, to be fair, these units might come back around in 6 months. It's really, really, really hard to gauge. But these came for the JP 4.5 year anniversary. They're from a story that was unique to Danmemo that actually was popular enough they got its own manga. So it's a really interesting situation. Now, Radari, Talvi, and Vera, all 3 of these units, the only units of their kind in the game. So if you pull in this ticket, just like before, you got time-limited units. You've got fresh CP. All 3 of these are fresh CP. None of these units have any other equals in the game. 0. And you've got 3 units. So you have a really, really, really solid chance. In fact, if you didn't pull in this banner initially, you've got a 100% chance of getting fresh CP. I love this banner. And the only reason I put this over the other one is because Epimetheus on the other one is attainable through that banner that's currently live. So, I adore these units. This is easily just like half a mark above the other one. So very, very, very good choice. Familia Chronicle. This is the episode of Freya. These units are fresh CP, which is interesting. Hegni and Hedon both are unique CP. Even Alfric only has one other unit in the game. Though, here's the deal, guys. They're not time limited. So odds are pretty good you'll get these guys eventually on a 2 or 3 star ticket. So there's only 4 of them. That does make it a little nicer. So I'll give this 2 out of 3 ticks, but not being time limited, I would say it's a really, really, really poor choice because every single one of these units are very much attainable in one of the other banners. So this is still like a bottom mark for me. I would sooner pick a banner that is time limited and that has 6 units versus, a banner that's not time limited that does have fresh CP. Personal opinion, though. So you really got to make a hard choice there. You probably have a 2.5 out of 4 chance. Not to make that fraction any more confusing than it has to be, but like a 2.5 out of 4 chance of getting fresh CP out of this. So if you need Iris, and you have all the other units, it's not a bad idea. But you'd really have to have all 6 of the other units we just talked about before I'd even consider it. So, not bottom marks, but definitely not top marks for me. Now, another kind of tough one. Alan has a couple other units in the game. Otaro, of course, has a ton. But Ali, this is her only unit in the game. But it is worth noting, these units are not time limited. So if you want my honest opinion, this banner is slightly better than this banner. Only because if you pull Otaro, Otaro is like the one bomb on this. Although that unit is amazing. That unit is broken. But the honest answer here is, guys, we're talking about more or less just farming Iris and getting unique units and things like that. While Otaro is great for now, we don't know what his value is going to be in 2 or 3 months. They could come out with somebody that totally breaks him or is even better than him. And they brought out several units that are built like him. So I would say probably not the best value for your investment. So I hate to say, I'm going to walk away from this banner. Now, Giga Crisis of Creation. This was one of the most recent ones just added to the CP pool. I say CP pool, I'm sorry. The general pool. Not time limited. No fresh CP at all, period. And 6 units. Bottom marks, don't even touch it. Same with this one here. No fresh CP. 6 units and non-time limited. Bottom marks, period. Okay, and finally, we have 4 units, but no fresh CP, no time limited. If it's a tick above the rest, sure, but I'll be honest with you guys, not time limited, not worthwhile. Walk away from this banner. So, my top picks. This banner, phenomenal. Like, an absolutely amazing value for your investment. I believe, let's grab this banner. An even better investment for your value. So if you really need to pick one, I would pick one of these 2. Now, in the odd chance, in the unlikely chance that you happen to have all 6 of these units and you just need, like, I don't know, Hagni or Hedon, this would be like number 3, but this is a distant number 3. This is as far from, a top pick as you could possibly get. So, those are my picks for the banners currently live. Make sure you choose wisely, guys, because this one makes a difference. And going into the anniversary, you want to make sure that you've got a decent amount of Iris. As you can kind of tell, go back to my game here. Yes, I was checking that Haruhime. You guys probably already saw that. I am sitting at 6,000 Iris. I'm just about my AK point, and I have not even started farming yet. I'm going to comfortably be at 12k, which actually means for me, I might actually kind of hit this banner. But I haven't decided yet. So, I don't know. Show up to the live streams to see if that happens. So, for now, guys, that is going to be the video. Like, comment, share, and I'll be back at you guys with more Danmachi coming up really soon.